It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
All right, hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. So we are still in a drought, but there's some help that's on the way, maybe some better rain chances this week with a cool front. And, this is definitely going to be helpful. We will take any rain chances we can get because for some of us, it is getting pretty serious in regards to how little rain we've seen. Take a look at this one location at the Gulfport Biloxi Airport. They've seen 0 measurable rain so far this month. And so that's got us in a rain deficit of the month of basically 4 inches. You're supposed to have about 4 inches of rain by the 23rd day of September, and we've got 0. And you can take a look at this day by day, showing how much rain has occurred each day. Apparently there was a trace of rain that was recorded on Friday the 12th a couple of weeks ago. And overall, we're really not seeing much over so far this month, not just in Gulfport Biloxi, but for much of South Mississippi. Now, we said a trace of rain. What does that mean? Well, in order to measure rain in a rain gauge, you're about to learn something here if you're a person who measures rain. In order to measure rain in a gauge, that begins at 1/100th of an inch. So if you had a rain gauge and you're measuring it, you can't measure anything lower than 1/100th of an inch. That's the beginning of what we call measurable rain. However, sometimes you can get just the tiniest amount of rain that goes into that gauge, and it's less than 1/100th of an inch. That is referred to as a trace of rain. It's just a lingering trace of a few tiny handfuls of raindrops. And that's all we've seen so far this month, at least at the Gulfport Airport. And that's what brings us to this. With only trace amounts of rain, it's actually the driest September ever recorded so far. I mean, I know we still got about a week or so left of the month. And we are expecting some rain chances this week, so hopefully that will get us out of this first place driest September ever recorded. And that's a lot of Septembers to compare to. You go all the way back to the 1890s with the weather records in that general area, and yeah, you don't really see any as low of rain as what we have seen so far this month. But like I said, we could improve as we go into later this week. By the way, even though the Gulfport Airport hasn't seen much rain, there have been some places that have seen rain. If you take a look at these maps showing how much rain has happened over the last 3 days, there are several places that have seen rain over the last few days. For example, yesterday on Monday the 22nd, it rained to the north of Van Cleve and it rained near Diamond Head. On Sunday the 21st, it rained to the west of Diamond Head and it rained near Wiggins. And on Saturday the 20th, it rained across a good portion of Pearl River County. But you'll notice all 3 of these days, pretty much nothing near Gulfport. So that's been the key. That's the place that keeps the climate records. And if you don't get any rain there, then historically we are going to look like it didn't rain anywhere because that's the only site with a long period of records. So 200 years from now, when someone's trying to look back at the weather records to see, hey, did it rain in September of 2025, it's going to show a bunch of nothing because our one record-keeping site at the Gulfport Airport appears to keep avoiding the rain that keeps happening every day nearby, but not exactly at that one site. Anyway, there's a look at the whole area, how much rain we've seen compared to normal. And most areas have seen less than 25% of normal. Anytime you're in the red color there, so that's all of our area has seen less than 25. That will be Poplarville, Picayune, Diamond Head, Waveland. But then there's some places that have seen less than 5% of the normal monthly rain so far. That will be Wiggins, Saussure, places near Pass Christian, Long Beach, as well as Lucedale. And then there's that very worst category, less than 2% of the monthly rain so far, and that's this deepest red color here, including much of Gulfport, Biloxi, D'Iberville, as well as Ocean Springs, St. Martin, Gaucher, Pascagoula, Moss Point, Van Cleve, and Bendale. And we're hoping for some rain here because as we go from September to October, typically the weather tends to dry up a bit. So there's a look at the normal rain you see every month of the year, and normally going from September, you do tend to see drier conditions in October on average. Actually, October is our driest month of the year, so a lot of times if you don't get the rain in September, you're in trouble in October as the drought conditions can worsen. Speaking of drought conditions, there they are. We'll get a new update to this map on Thursday, and when we do, just a small note that the data in this coming Thursday's map, the cutoff time for that is today. So whatever rain will be or whatever drought they analyze that in the map that we get updated on Thursday, it will not show the rain that we get tomorrow on Wednesday, and it will not show the rain that we get on Thursday. So it is likely going to show an intensifying drought since it will be a 7-day stretch of data that is worse than whatever you see on the map. But like we say, we do have some rain chances coming. Let's talk about how much. An inch of rain? You know, some places might not even get that. Now, you look closely, there's some nuance here. The yellow colors indicate basically an inch of rain. But there's actually some orange and red colors right along the coast there in Pascagoula. Maybe you can get more than an inch of rain. And when you zoom this out, this is now through the end of Thursday, you actually see even higher rain totals off to our south. So you can see that in these areas across coastal Louisiana, there's going to be this zone of rain that might be even higher. So we'll have to keep a close eye on how close of a call we will get to some higher rain amounts. Right now the modeling showing maybe a break in the rain to the north of that. We'll have to see exactly how this shapes up. So as rain chances increase over the next few days, that's a good sign since we are in this drought-like pattern. Today's chance only 10% or so, and then we get to some slightly higher chances on Wednesday, and then the highest chance of the week on Thursday. This is as we track a fall cool front. You're noticing it's muggy this morning. It was muggy yesterday morning too, so we're still dealing with very unusually high humidity for late September, kind of the summertime humidity. And we're going to see those better rain chances Wednesday PM into Thursday. Now there will be just this low risk of some thunderstorms that might become strong enough to produce frequent lightning, gusty winds, isolated flooding downpours, isolated street flooding basically. And then we'll get to some drier stuff by the weekend. So let's time it out for you with the Futurecast map. So here you go with the Futurecast, seeing Thursday morning before daybreak, maybe there's this area of showers and storms that is located along Alabama's Interstate 65, and we'll have to see how far to the southwest that extends. Right now, our modeling basically, if I use the red, the modeling kind of brings an end to the tail of that line of rain near Mobile. It doesn't extend it into the Mississippi coast, but it is a possibility that it could, so just keep that in mind. There could be some overnight rain Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We fast forward the timing and we see that the rest of that line kind of builds in, and it's very tricky how it builds in just to our south. So you're seeing those thunderstorms developing, and they are not that far from the Mississippi coast. And that could be our close call Thursday morning with maybe a stormy drive in to work or school. So we'll have to watch for that risk of scattered showers and storms, perhaps early in the day on Thursday. We'll see how close they can get. If the model is wrong on the timing and placement of this, then those could be closer to us than the model expects, and that's how we could get into some impacts to your Thursday morning travel on our local roads here in South Mississippi. But for now, the modeling is keeping them just offshore. We'll see. It does look like a close call, as again, you can do a distance measuring, and you can see that's certainly fewer than 50 miles away from Interstate 10 for some of those thunderstorms offshore. Let's go through time, and you'll watch this area of showers and storms. It's going to move eastward, right? So as we go later on into Thursday morning, most of the rain moving east. Now there's some nuance here, right? Not everyone clearing out. Look, Pascagoula still getting some showers. Moss Point, Escatawpa still getting some. But for many of us, it's all moving over into Alabama and Florida. And when we go even later into Thursday, basically into the afternoon, most of this has now picked up into Florida. And we're seeing not much rain. Right, if you look at the South Mississippi zone on the map, you really don't have much rain showing up there. And I don't want you to get fooled by that, because a lot of times when you're getting rain and then the rain stops, everyone's like, all right, the cool front has passed, it's all clear. And this could be a little tricky because the cool front will not have passed by the middle of Thursday. It could still be lurking off to our west. As long as you are ahead of the front, it's a different air mass. You know, we talk about cool front. That means it's the front of cool air, right? So behind that front, that's where the drier air will be. That's where the cooler air will be if we draw the word cool on the screen. It's really not cool back there, but it's cooler, and it's mostly drier with this particular front. It's not a very strong one in regards to a sharp drop in temperature, but it is a decent strength with the drop in humidity that you can get. So behind that front, the drier, cooler air, because it is the front of drier, cooler air. Ahead of it, though, it's not drier and cooler. It's actually warm. It's actually humid. And so Thursday afternoon, you'll be able to easily tell, okay, the rain stopped, but it didn't turn drier. It didn't turn less humid. That should, be going off in your head that, oh, the front must not have passed yet. So because we're still in that warm and humid sector, what that is going to do for us is actually make it easy for new rain showers and storms to develop, especially when you have the heating of the day combined with the really moisture-rich atmospheric environment. And you got the cool front that's actually kicking up some lift in the atmosphere. You have multiple factors combining. And that's why when you look at this map, I want you to watch this zone here right in front of the front, basically right here. And watch what happens between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. We begin to see some storms developing, right? Look at these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're small at first, but once they get going, once there's enough daytime heating and that front continues to go into them and lift them and they grow taller, they get a bit stronger. And so you're going to watch this zone here. Well, I misdrew it a little bit. Let's try one more. So there's your zone of kind of a round 2. Round 1 in the morning is already gone into Florida or whatever. But round 2 popping up Thursday afternoon. Look how that goes from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're seeing some thunderstorms developing over Hancock County, Harrison County, Stone County, George County, Jackson County. So in South Mississippi, seeing new storms firing up Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening. And this could actually continue into parts of Thursday night, but you'll notice by the time the sun goes down, most of the rain is finally now moving east, and we are finally beginning to see these drier conditions coming in behind the front, as all that humidity is now still kicking up into Alabama and Florida, but we're beginning to see the drier stuff. And oh boy, when that drier air comes in Thursday night into Friday, that will set the stage for a very pleasant first weekend of fall. What you can look forward to, cooler mornings in the 60s. We'll also still have lower humidity to look forward to for those afternoons. I know they'll still be warm, but at least they will be less humid starting Friday and likely continuing into the weekend. No rain to ruin your outdoor activities or events, and of course plenty of beautiful sunshine. So this is a look at the humidity dropping as we go from a muggy Tuesday and a muggy Wednesday to an eventually less humid Thursday night, and also a less humid Friday and a less humid Saturday. It's not going to be, bone dry, super duper magnificent blast of fall air or anything like that, but it is going to be less humid, and I think that helps this time of year, especially when it's as muggy as it is right now. Also, lower humidity, it helps temperatures to heat up a little bit more in the afternoons, but more importantly, this time of year, it helps temperatures to cool off more quickly overnight. So by the time we get to some of those overnight temperatures Saturday, or really Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, into those morning hours, we're going to see things kind of cooling off. So how about this? Tonight into Wednesday morning, we're looking at overnight lows in the 70s. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, another round of 70s. But Thursday night into Friday morning, after that front passes, look at that. We're seeing some cooler 60s by the time we wake up Friday morning. And then we go again Friday night into Saturday morning, and oh my goodness, while the coast might only drop a couple of degrees or so, the inland areas could drop 5 degrees. So you wake up on Saturday morning to perhaps a round of lower 60s in some inland locations. We can take a look at Saturday morning's temperature map. Here's a preview of the beginning of the first weekend of fall. You're walking out the door Saturday morning, and you know, there's just this little fall feel in the air with temperatures in the middle 60s on the coast and lower 60s for areas that are to the north of Interstate 10. You're looking at a morning temperature of 64 in Van Cleve, 62 in Lucedale and Wiggins. So there's going to be some places with that nice sort of feel Saturday morning, and that likely will continue into Sunday morning too. So something to look forward to for this weekend, the first weekend of fall. It will be nice and pleasant. The afternoon's still warm, but at least it won't be as humid. So that, I think, will make a nice difference. And if you have any plans to be outside on Saturday and Sunday, I think you're going to be enjoying these types of conditions, as it will be more comfortable to be outside, and there won't be any rain to get in the way. We just have to get through some showers or some possible showers and storms midweek before we can cash in on that pleasant weekend. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. We'll see you again next time.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.